Hello everyone, so today is my first video on Norev, which is a company I'm not super familiar with. This is my first experience with it and also my first video. So I'm just gonna, it's a little out of reach, but I'm just gonna show you the packaging very quickly. This is kind of a window boxing. It's I don't know which company that it is similar to, but this is what it looks like. The one I got is actually a little bit bent and broken and everything, so but it works well enough. I'm probably gonna get rid of that just to save a little bit of space, but you can see this is how it works. Is it? Oh, this way. This is how it works. You put it here and yeah, protects it pretty well and back into the window box. Norev is a French company, so obviously they do a lot of French cars, but also a lot of European cars in general, including this very interesting pair of Mercedes. Metz it is. So first of all, this the smaller car, this is the W196R, and has a couple of nicknames. I don't know if there's any of them is technically official other than the W190R designation. But a lot of them are a lot of people refer to it as the Type Monza, and a lot of people refer to it. Why is it so hard? Refer to it as the Stromliney, the streamlined version of the W196. So as far as names goes, the W196 W for Mercedes designation just means car. It's Wagen. And that includes their normal cars, for instance, the famous 190E, right? So W, I think it's, the 190E, its designation also starts with a W, but I don't remember which number it is. 201 or something like that. I'll put up subtitles if I got it wrong. And even for Formula One cars, even today, for instance, it's 2021 right now, and the Formula One car that Mercedes are running with Hamilton and Bottas is called the W12 because Mercedes returned to Formula One in 2010. So Hamilton won 2008, Jenson Button won in 2009 with the Braun Racing, which used to be Honda, and Mercedes bought Braun Racing after that. So Mercedes returned in 2010, right? So that's the W01, W02, W03, all the way till the incredible W11, which we saw in 2020, which just dominated like very few cars have dominated before. It kind of reminds me of reminds a lot of people of the Michael Schumacher in 2004 with the Ferrari, or the MP44 for McLaren that completely dominated between Alain Prost and Ayrton Senna, winning every single race other than the Italian Grand Prix. But yeah, so this was a great segue, because even though it might not look like one, this was actually a Formula One car, and more specifically, it was the only Formula One car that won a race while being a closed wheel car. Because most Formula One cars, pretty much every single Formula One car right now is open wheels, right? All these, this Stromliney obviously has fenders. And yeah, it's really cool. And I think the number one specifically is one Manuel Fangio's car, one of the greatest Formula One drivers of all time. 5 world championships. I think this number one was his. And the wheels are actually plastic, roll independently. They're not bound to their axles. You can see Norev made in China. And here it does say Mercedes-Benz W196R Stromliney. It's got a metal body, obviously plastic chassis, and plastic wheels. Even though for plastic wheels, for wheels that don't have rubber tires, this actually looks pretty great. Looks very authentic. And although one problem I have, with this, as I often am unlucky with quality control, the base is a little bent. I don't know how that happened. I also don't know how to put it back, but it's also not super noticeable, and it rolls just fine because, well, it's a little bit difficult to screw up the rolling of plastic wheel vehicles, right? But the details are great. Other than the base, there's no real quality control issues. Oh, and by the way, this is called the Type Monza because obviously it's more aerodynamic one. It's more designed better for long stretches of straight line racing, like in Monza. So I'm gonna put a picture of the normal spec W196 right here, and yeah, that's what the car looks quote unquote normally. And you can see the cockpit as well. It's a really nice car and a very old car, right? In 1954 to 1955, it's a very solid race car until the 1955 Le Mans disaster, after which Mercedes-Benz pulled out of all motor racing. But yeah, it's a great car, and I didn't do the numbers for it, but friends from the same Discord server that I am on has done the numbers and everything. And according to their calculations, according to their measurements, both of these vehicles are true 164, which is awesome. Now, not all Norev vehicles are like this. So I'm not really sure how to deal with that, how to make sure if it's true 164 or more of like a 3-inch scale car. And not all of them have plastic wheels either. So next up is let's see what they call it. Yeah, Mercedes-Benz Renntransporter, right? The race car transporter. Again, plastic base, plastic wheels, metal body, but this thing is really, it's actually quite heavy. It's heavier than what you would expect. For instance, I'm just gonna, oops. My mic fell off just now. Yeah, this is a comparison to like a Hot Wheels Team Transport van. Yeah, transport truck. As you can see, I would say they are more or less in scale. If anything, the Hot Wheels one's a little bit smaller. Well, I think they're similar enough, just because how weird the design of this Renntransporter is. It's hard to tell the scale, right? But these two almost weigh exactly the same, and that's kind of incredible. The Hot Wheels one, although this entire thing, the container box is all plastic, the base, that's a pretty chunky, big piece of metal. And the cabin is metal as well, but only the blue part you see here are metal, but that's still pretty heavy for some reason. You can see the W196 does not have any headlights because, it's a Formula racing car. It's not an endurance racing car. But here you can see this truck does have headlights, and it is actually lensed, really beautifully detailed. I think these are spare tires at the back, and you can see it's actually a little loose. It's not 100% bolted down, which is, that doesn't really mean anything. I don't think it's good or bad, but just something that's worth mentioning. The plastic piece back here, the backlights are painted, but it's painted really well, so there's nothing to worry about them whatsoever. Again, similar to the W196, the Mercedes-Benz Renntransporter was also built in 1954 specifically for race car, for motorsport. For instance, if one of the cars break down in, say, like Le Mans, this truck was designed to go really fast, pick it up, throw it back into the pits for repair. So this car was designed to be really fast, hence a very unusual design, shall we say. And after Mercedes-Benz pulled out of motorsports in 1955, there wasn't really a reason to continue with this race car transport truck. All of them were actually destroyed, but afterwards, I think in the last, I don't know when exactly, but Mercedes eventually rebuilt this whole thing based on old schematics and old photographs. That's how we see a lot of those really nicely restored. And just to have some other comparisons, this is the Schuko 300 SL. It's a great car. As you can see, yeah, size-wise, they're pretty much the same. True 64, just show what it looks like right here, because what I don't have is a 300 SEL, which is the race car that actually ended up as a part of the Le Mans disaster in 1955. But it's obvious it's very similar to the 300 SL as well as the W196. But yeah, I think this is a great pair. I think Norev is a company that I can definitely be more on the lookout for. I don't know when this was released. I think it's actually not as old as I expected. I remember seeing years here, but that's a lot of numbers, right? So I can't really be sure when this came out. Yeah, no, it says 2017, right? So it's kind of old, like 3-4 years old, but not super old. I don't know, maybe. But yeah, this set gives me a lot of confidence in the future of Shuko, future of Norev. My apologies. It is also always incredibly great to add old Formula One cars, and ones from Fangio, no less, who's one of my favorite Formula One drivers. Just yeah, it's really, really cool. I'm really glad to have it. I think it's worth buying if you're interested in the subject matters. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.